Stop scrolling because one question, just one, can quietly change the direction of your entire life. Not a habit, not a goal, but a question. Marcus Aurelius believed most people don't fail because they lack discipline. They fail because they ask the wrong questions every single day, questions that keep them busy but never free. 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor wrote questions to himself, not for success, not for fame, but for clarity, calm, and inner strength. These questions shaped how he ruled an empire and how he ruled himself. Tonight, I'll share 12 Stoic questions that strip away noise ego and fear questions that don't motivate you, they reveal you. And if you listen carefully, one of these questions will follow you long after this video ends. Stay with me. Part 1. What do I actually value? When nobody is watching, before the sun rises, before the world starts asking things from you, ask yourself this slowly. What do I actually value? When nobody is watching, Marcus Aurelius asked himself this question, not on a throne, not before an audience, but alone, often tired, often uncertain, often surrounded by war and loss. And yet this single question became the anchor of his life. Because when you don't choose your values, something else will. Your phone, your fear, other people's expectations. Say this with me. If I don't choose my values, I inherit them. Marcus wrote in Meditations, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. He didn't say talk about it. He didn't say prove it. He said be it, especially when no one is watching. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your values are not what you say matters. Your values are what you sacrifice for. Pause here. Take a slow breath in and out. What did you sacrifice time for this week? Energy, attention. That, whether you like it or not, reveals what you truly value. Modern research backs this up. A Harvard behavioral study found that people with clearly defined personal values make decisions over 40% faster and experience significantly lower anxiety under pressure. Why? Because clarity removes friction. Marcus lived in an empire obsessed with power, status, and recognition. Yet he wrote, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself. This wasn't poetry. It was discipline. He valued character over comfort, duty over desire, clarity over applause, and that is why he could sleep at night while ruling the most powerful empire on earth. Now let me ask you something honest. If I looked at your calendar, your spending, your screen time, would I see your values or your impulses? This isn't judgment. This is Stoic honesty. Marcus trained himself daily with one simple question. What kind of person does today require me to be? Not what does today give me? Not what does today owe me? But what does today require? Try this now. Write down 3 values you want to live by this year. Not goals, not outcomes, values. Then ask one more question. What am I willing to give up for each one? Because if there is no sacrifice, it is not a value. It is a preference. Marcus understood this deeply. He faced plague, betrayal, and the death of children. And still he wrote, do what is right. The rest does not matter. This is where life begins to change. Not when motivation strikes, but when values decide before emotions speak. Say it with me. My values choose first. My feelings follow. In the next part, Marcus will challenge something even harder. Not what you value, but who is shaping you every single day. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Stay with me. Part 2, who am I spending my life with? Before you change your habits, before you change your goals, Marcus Aurelius would ask something far more dangerous. Who am I spending my life with? Not who do I admire, not who do I follow, but who do I actually spend my time with when I'm tired, distracted, unguarded? Marcus knew something most people ignore until it's too late. Character is contagious. He wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. But here's the part people miss. Your thoughts are shaped quietly by the people around you. Say this with me. Proximity is programming. Marcus ruled an empire, yet he was careful about who stood close to him. He feared bad influence more than enemies. Because enemies attack openly. Influence works silently. Modern psychology confirms this. A landmark study showed that your income habits and even life expectancy tend to drift toward the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not the people you respect, not the people you quote, the people you default to. Pause here. Take a slow breath. Now ask yourself honestly, who do I become when I'm around them? Calmer or more reactive? Focused or distracted? Stronger or smaller? Marcus believed there are only three kinds of people in your life: those who pull you upward, those who pull you downward, and those who keep you exactly where you are. That last group is the most dangerous because they feel safe. Marcus warned associate with people who are likely to improve you. Notice he didn't say people who entertain you, or validate you, or agree with you, improve you. Let me give you a modern example. In a long-term study on habit formation, people trying to change their behavior were 4 times more likely to succeed when their immediate social circle supported the change, even passively. Not by motivation, by environment. Marcus understood this centuries ago. That's why he often chose solitude over bad company. Not because he disliked people, but because he valued his inner order more than social comfort. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. Who do I call after a hard day? Who do I complain to? Who do I scroll past and secretly compare myself to? Those voices shape your internal dialogue. This is why Marcus practiced distance without drama. No speeches, no arguments, no resentment, just boundaries. Say it with me. Distance can be an act of self-respect. Here's a simple Stoic exercise. Write 3 names under each category: builders, drainers, neutral. You don't need to cut people off overnight. Stoicism is not cruelty. But you do need to adjust exposure. More time with builders, less emotional access for drainers, intentional limits with neutral influences. Marcus once reminded himself, if someone can harm me, I allow it. Your time is your life. Guard it accordingly. Breathe in, breathe out. In the next part, Marcus turns the lens inward away from people, toward time itself. Because even with the right values and the right people, your life can still slip away if you don't ask the next question. Stay with me. Part 3, what does my ideal day truly look like? Before Marcus Aurelius asked how to rule an empire, he asked something much quieter. How should I live today? Not someday, not after success, not when things calm down. Today. Marcus understood something modern culture still resists. A life is not built in years. It is built in days. He wrote, life is what happens while you are busy making other plans. So let me ask you this slowly. If I followed you for one full day, from the moment you woke up to the moment you went to sleep, would I understand the life you say you want, or would I only see distraction, urgency, and reaction? Say this with me. My days are my philosophy. Marcus never fantasized about an ideal future. He obsessed over ideal days. Because if you don't design your day, someone else will. Your boss, your phone, your anxiety. Modern data proves this. Studies on time use show that the average person checks their phone over 90 times per day, often unconsciously. That's not a habit. That's a hijack. Marcus warned against this centuries ago, writing, be careful not to live as if you had endless time. He knew that chaos at the daily level becomes regret at the life level. Pause here. Breathe in slowly and out. Now imagine your ideal day not as a fantasy, but as a structure. What time do you wake up? What do you do first before the world touches you? When do you think? When do you move your body? When do you connect with people you love? Marcus valued mornings deeply. He often reminded himself that waking up was not a burden, but a duty. At dawn, when you struggle to get out of bed, he wrote, tell yourself I have to go to work as a human being, not to chase status, not to impress, but to live according to nature and reason. Here's the mistake most people make. They design goals, they design dreams, but they never design a day capable of producing them, so they stay busy without direction. Marcus would ask, does this day move me closer or further away from the person I want to become? A powerful modern example. Researchers found that people who intentionally structure just their first 90 minutes of the day report higher focus, better mood, and stronger self-control throughout the day. Not motivation structure. Marcus practiced this intuitively. He limited unnecessary meetings. He avoided pointless obligations. He protected time for reflection even while ruling Rome. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. Which part of your day feels rushed, chaotic, or resentful? That is where your life is leaking energy. Stoicism does not demand perfection, it demands awareness. Say it with me. What I repeat, I become. Here's a Stoic exercise you can do tonight. Write down your ideal ordinary day, not a vacation day, not a fantasy day, an ordinary weekday done well. Then circle one thing you can implement tomorrow morning. 1. Marcus believes small daily order creates inner peace. He wrote, do every act of your life as though it were the last. Not dramatically, but deliberately. If you don't know what a good day looks like, you will spend your life chasing things that don't satisfy. Money, attention, approval. Marcus escaped that trap by anchoring himself to daily intention. Breathe in, breathe out. In the next part, Marcus will challenge something even more subtle, because even with the right people and the right days, you can still waste your life if you're asking the wrong question. Next, we confront the difference between being impressive and being effective. Stay with me. Part 4. Am I trying to be impressive or effective? Before Marcus Aurelius asked how to win battles, he asked a quieter and more dangerous question. Am I trying to be impressive or effective? Because these two paths look similar at first, but they lead to very different lives. Impressive seeks applause, effective seeks results. Marcus ruled Rome at its height, yet he constantly warned himself against vanity. He wrote, ambition means tying your well-being to what other people say or do. Say this with me. Applause is loud, impact is quiet. Marcus watched talented leaders destroy themselves by chasing recognition instead of responsibility. They spoke well, they looked powerful, but nothing actually improved. He chose the opposite. He worked in silence. He delegated credit. He absorbed blame. Modern research confirms this ancient insight. Studies on leadership effectiveness show that teams led by low-ego leaders outperform others by up to 25% in long-term outcomes. Why? Because energy goes into the work, not into image management. Pause here, breathe in and out. Now ask yourself honestly, when I post, speak, or act, do I want to be seen, or do I want something to be done? Marcus reminded himself. It is amazing how much can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit. He understood that ego taxes everything: time, focus, peace. Here's the trap. Being impressive feels productive. Meetings, updates, opinions, visibility. But effectiveness is often boring. Deep work, repetition, consistency, patience. Marcus chose boring on purpose. He focused on systems, not speeches, on duty, not drama. Say it with me, real progress rarely looks impressive. A modern example. In productivity studies, people who reduce performative tasks, emails, meetings, constant updates gain up to 30% more deep work time, leading to higher quality results. Less noise, more output. Marcus lived this truth without data. He wrote, do not waste the remainder of your life in thoughts about others. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. Which parts of my day exist mainly to signal importance? Which parts actually create value? Stoicism doesn't shame ambition. It disciplines it. Here's a Stoic exercise. For the next 24 hours, do one meaningful task and tell no one about it. No post, no hint, no credit. Just do it well. Marcus believed this practice purified intention. Breathe in, breathe out. If you remove the need to impress, what work would finally get done? In the next part, Marcus sharpens the blade even further. Because even if you stop chasing applause, you can still waste enormous energy fighting things you were never meant to control. Next, we ask the question that cuts anxiety in half. Stay with me. Part 5. Is this actually in my control? Before Marcus Aurelius tried to change the world, he learned to ask one question that changed him. Is this actually in my control? This question sounds simple, but it is the sharpest blade in Stoicism. Because most of human suffering comes from one mistake fighting battles we were never meant to win. Marcus watched generals rage over weather, politicians panic over public opinion, citizens destroy their peace over rumors. And he wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Say this with me. Control is peace. Confusion is suffering. The Stoics divided life into two parts. What is up to us and what is not. Our actions, our judgments, our effort. These are ours, outcomes. Other people, the past, these are not. Epictetus said it even more clearly. Some things are in our control and others not. Yet most people reverse this logic. They try to control outcomes and neglect effort. They obsess over opinions and abandon discipline. Pause here, breathe in slowly, and out. Now ask yourself, what am I angry about right now? What am I anxious about? Then ask again more honestly, is this actually within my control? Modern neuroscience confirms this Stoic wisdom. Studies show that people who focus on controllable actions instead of outcomes experience lower cortisol levels and improve decision-making under stress. Calm is not personality, it's strategy. Marcus practiced this daily. When war came, he focused on preparation. When plague came, he focused on leadership. When betrayal came, he focused on character. He did not waste energy demanding reality be different. He wrote, "Do not wish for things to happen as you want them to. Wish for them to happen as they do." This was not resignation, it was precision. Here's the trap. We confuse concern with control. We think worrying is doing something. It isn't. Worry is often just attention without direction. Say it with me, if I can't act on it, I let it go. A practical Stoic exercise. Draw 3 columns: control, influence, no control. Place every stressor in one column. Then act only on the first. Prepare wisely for the second. Release the third without resentment. Marcus used this mental discipline to survive chaos without becoming chaotic himself. Breathe in, breathe out. Now ask yourself one final question. What would I do differently today if I stopped demanding control over the uncontrollable? That is where your freedom lives. In the next part, Marcus goes even deeper. Because even when something is not in your control, your reaction can still steal something priceless: your attention. Next, we confront the hidden cost of worry itself. Stay with me. Part 6. What am I missing by choosing worry? Marcus Aurelius believed worry was not just unpleasant, it was expensive. Every moment you worry, you pay with attention. And attention is the most valuable currency you have. So he asked himself a sharper question than, how do I stop worrying? He asked, what am I missing by choosing worry? Say this with me. Worry always steals from something else. Marcus watched people panic over rumors, insults, imagined futures. And while they worried they missed the present, the only place action exists. He wrote, do not let the future trouble you. You will meet it if you have to, with the same weapons of reason, which today arm you against the present. Pause here. Breathe in slowly and out. Worry feels responsible. It feels like preparation. But most worry is not preparation. It's mental rehearsal for things that never happen. Modern data confirms this. Studies in cognitive psychology show that over 85% of what people worry about never occurs, and most of the remaining 15% is manageable when it does arrive. Marcus understood this intuitively. He asked himself, if this problem is not here yet, why am I already suffering? Say it with me, I suffer twice when I worry. Here's the deeper cost. When you worry, you lose presence, judgment, creativity, courage. You miss opportunities because your mind is elsewhere. Marcus warned, nothing has such power to broaden the mind as the ability to investigate systematically everything that comes under your observation. Worry narrows the mind. Attention expands it. Now ask yourself honestly, when I worry, what am I not seeing? What duty am I postponing? What moment am I abandoning? Pause, breathe. Stoicism doesn't tell you to ignore danger. It tells you to prepare calmly. Marcus separated preparation from panic. Preparation asks, what action is available right now? Worry asks, what if everything goes wrong? Only one of these creates strength. Say it with me. Calm prepares. Worry paralyzes. Here's a Stoic practice. When worry appears, ask 3 questions. 1, is this happening now? 2, if yes, what action is required? 3, if no, why am I paying attention to it? Then return to the present task. Marcus used this discipline to lead during plague and war without collapsing inward. Breathe in, breathe out. Now ask one final question. What would I notice today if I stopped worrying for just 1 hour? That is where your life has been waiting. In the next part, Marcus raises the stakes again, because even when you stop worrying, you may still be distracted by things that don't matter at all. Next, we ask the question that strips life down to its essentials. Stay with me. Part 7. Does this really matter in the light of eternity? Marcus Aurelius had a habit that shocked people. When chaos erupted, insults, delays, crises, he would pause and ask one quiet question: does this really matter? In the light of eternity, not tomorrow, not next month, eternity. Say this with me. Perspective shrinks pain. Marcus lived with death close, plagues, wars, the loss of children. So he learned what most people learn too late. Most things that upset us don't matter at all. He wrote, ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Because when you remove the unnecessary, you gain a double benefit, less anxiety and more power, where it counts. Pause here. Breathe in slowly and out. Modern psychology confirms this Stoic insight. Studies on stress appraisal show that reframing problems with long-term perspective can reduce emotional intensity by up to 40%. Distance doesn't erase pain, it clarifies it. Marcus practiced this daily. When criticized, he asked, will this matter in a year? When delayed, he asked, is this worth my peace? When insulted, he asked, does this touch my character or just my pride? Say it with me. Not everything deserves my energy. Here's the trap. The mind treats everything as urgent. Notifications, opinions, small slights. But urgency is often an illusion. Marcus warned, most of what we say and do is unnecessary. That doesn't mean nothing matters. It means only a few things do. Family, character, duty. Doing your best with what you control. Everything else is noise. Now ask yourself something honest. What am I emotionally reacting to that will not matter in 5 years? What am I protecting, my values or my ego? Breathe, reset. Stoicism doesn't make you cold, it makes you selective. Here's a Stoic exercise. When something upsets you today, ask 3 questions. 1. Will this matter in 10 days? 2. 10 months? 3. 10 years? If the answer fades as time expands, so should your emotional investment. Marcus wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. This wasn't denial, it was mastery. Breathe in, breathe out. If you stopped reacting to the trivial, how much energy would return to your life? In the next part, Marcus brings the focus back to responsibility. Because even when things truly do matter, there is one question that determines whether you rise or drift. Next we ask, am I doing my job right now? Stay with me. Part 8, am I doing my job? Right now, Marcus Aurelius asked himself this question relentlessly, not as an emperor, but as a human being. Am I doing my job right now? Not my title, not my reputation, not what I wish my job was. My job in this moment. Marcus understood something most people resist. Life doesn't ask you to do everything. It asks you to do your part fully. He wrote, at every moment, ask yourself, is this necessary? Say this with me. Responsibility clarifies the moment. Marcus saw how chaos spreads when people focus on everyone else's role. Soldiers blame generals. Citizens blame leaders. Leaders blame fate. But Stoicism brings the lens back inward. What is mine to do right now? Pause here. Breathe in slowly and out. Modern organizational psychology confirms this. Studies show that teams perform significantly better when individuals focus on role clarity instead of role comparison. Confusion creates friction. Responsibility creates momentum. Marcus practiced this during war plague and political collapse. When soldiers panicked, his job was calm. When citizens suffered, his job was leadership. When insulted, his job was restraint. He did not do everything. He did his job. Say it with me. My duty is enough. Here's where people get trapped. It's easier to judge than to act. Easier to comment than to contribute. Easier to complain than to carry responsibility. Marcus warned himself, do not waste time on what others are doing unless it affects the common good. Ask yourself honestly, where am I distracted by other people's mistakes? Where am I avoiding my own responsibility? Reset your breath. Stoicism is not about harshness, it's about focus. Here's a Stoic exercise. Right now ask, what is the task in front of me? What would it look like to do it well? What distraction can I remove for the next 30 minutes? Then do only that. Marcus believed excellence was found in small acts done with integrity. He wrote, "Do what nature demands of you. Nothing more, nothing less. Breathe in, breathe out." If you stop worrying about everyone else's job, how much energy would return to your own life? In the next part, Marcus shifts the question again from duty to identity, because even when you do your job well, one question still determines the direction of your character. Next, we ask, is this who I want to be? Stay with me. Part 9. Is this who I want to be? Marcus Aurelius believed there was one question more important than success, more important than reputation, even more important than victory. Is this who I want to be? Not when life is easy, not when people are watching, but in pressure, in anger, in temptation, because that's when character shows itself. Marcus wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Say this with me. Character is revealed under pressure. Anyone can act wisely when calm. The Stoic test begins when emotions surge. Marcus ruled during war, betrayal, and plague. He saw people justify cruelty, shortcuts, and dishonesty, always just this once. But he reminded himself, what we do now echoes in our character forever. Pause here. Breathe in slowly and out. Modern psychology supports this. Studies on habit formation show that identity-based decisions acting in line with who you want to be are far more consistent than motivation-based ones. Identity outlasts emotion. Marcus understood this intuitively. He asked himself before acting, would the person I respect do this? Would my future self stand by this choice? Say it with me. Every choice casts a vote for who I become. Here's the trap. We excuse small compromises because they feel insignificant. A harsh word, a lazy decision, a moral shortcut. But Marcus warned, how we do anything is how we do everything. Character is built quietly, choice by choice. Now ask yourself something honest. When no one is watching, do my actions match my values? When I'm tired or angry, do I become smaller or stronger? Reset your breath. Stoicism does not demand perfection. It demands alignment. Here's a Stoic exercise. Identify one situation where you consistently act below your standards. Then write one sentence, when this happens, the person I want to be will, and follow it once. Marcus practiced this daily. He wrote, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. This wasn't fear. It was urgency for integrity. Breathe in, breathe out. If you lived today as the person you admire most, what would change immediately? In the next part, Marcus exposes a silent enemy of character, one that hides behind reason and pride. Because sometimes we're not protecting principles at all, we're protecting something else. Next we ask, am I protecting my ego or my principles? Stay with me. Part 10, am I protecting my ego or my principles? Marcus Aurelius knew that most inner conflicts are not battles of logic, they are battles of pride. So he asked himself a question that cuts through self-deception. Am I protecting my ego or my principles? These two often wear the same mask. Both sound reasonable. Both claim righteousness. But only one leads to peace. Marcus wrote, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Say this with me. Ego reacts. Principles respond. Ego wants to win. Principles want to be right. Ego seeks validation. Principles seek alignment. Marcus watched leaders confuse the two and destroy trust families, even nations in the process. Not because they lacked intelligence, but because they lacked humility. Pause here. Breathe in slowly and out. Modern behavioral research supports this Stoic insight. Studies show that decisions driven by ego threat lead to poor judgment and higher conflict, while principle-driven decisions increase long-term trust and cooperation. Marcus practiced this distinction daily. When criticized, he asked, is my character actually under threat or just my pride? When challenged, he asked, am I defending truth or defending my image? Say it with me. Not every challenge is an attack. Here's the trap. Ego disguises itself as logic. It says, I'm just being honest. I'm just standing my ground. But Marcus warned, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Principles don't need revenge. They don't need applause. They hold steady. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. In my last argument, what was I really protecting, my values or my self-image? Reset your breath. Stoicism doesn't tell you to be passive. It tells you to be precise. Here's a Stoic exercise. The next time you feel defensive, pause and ask, if no one knew I was right, would I still act this way? If there were no audience, would I still need to win? If the answer is no, it's ego. Marcus wrote, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. That sentence alone can save years of regret. Breathe in, breathe out. If you stop defending your ego, how many conflicts would simply dissolve? In the next part, Marcus turns our attention to something more fleeting but more dangerous than ego: time. Because even when you act with principle, you can still lose your life, moment by moment. Next we ask, is this a live moment or a dead one? Stay with me. Part 11, is this a live moment or a dead one? Marcus Aurelius had a ruthless way of looking at time, not as something to manage, but as something to honor. So he asked himself a question that leaves no room for excuses. Is this a live moment or a dead one? A live moment is when you are awake, present, choosing. A dead moment is when you are numb, distracted, waiting. Say this with me. Time is either lived or lost. Marcus wrote, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. He saw people survive decades without ever truly living them. Pause here. Breathe in slowly and out. Modern research confirms this ancient warning. Studies on attention show that people spend nearly 47% of their waking hours mentally elsewhere, replaying the past or rehearsing the future. Alive in body, absent in mind. Marcus refused that life. He reminded himself daily, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Say it with me. Now is not rehearsal. Here's the trap. Dead moments feel comfortable. Scrolling, complaining, waiting for motivation. Live moments feel demanding. Presence, effort, choice. Marcus chose demand over drift. He believed time is not something you fill. It is something you invest. Now ask yourself something honest. Which part of my day do I try to escape? Which moments do I anesthetize instead of inhabit? Reset your breath. Stoicism doesn't reject rest. It rejects unconscious living. Here's a Stoic exercise. For 1 hour today, treat time as sacred. No multitasking, no numbing. One task, fully present. Marcus practiced this during war councils and private reflection alike. He wrote, concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness. Breathe in, breathe out. If every moment were treated as alive, how different would your life feel? In the final part, Marcus brings all 12 questions together, because one question remains the one that gives meaning to all the rest. The question life itself is asking you. Next we ask, what is life asking of me? Right now, stay with me. Part 12, what is life asking of me? Right now, Marcus Aurelius believed that most people ask the wrong question. They ask, what do I want from life? What should life give me? Marcus asked the opposite. What is life asking of me right now? This question changes everything because it removes entitlement. It removes delay. It removes excuses. Say this with me. Life does not owe me answers. Life asks me to respond. Marcus wrote during war, and plague not from comfort, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. He knew meaning is not found. Meaning is answered through action. Pause here. Breathe in slowly and out. When something breaks in your life, life is asking for courage. When nothing seems to move, life is asking for patience. When you feel tempted to quit, life is asking for discipline. Marcus never asked for an easier burden. He asked to be worthy of the one he carried. Say it with me. Meaning is responsibility accepted. Viktor Frankl later echoed this same Stoic truth. Life is not primarily a quest for pleasure, but a quest for meaning. And meaning appears when you answer the moment correctly. Now listen carefully. Every question we asked before leads here. What do I value? Who shapes me? How do I spend my days? Am I effective? Is this in my control? Am I worrying needlessly? Does this really matter? Am I doing my job? Is this who I want to be? Am I defending ego or principle? Is this moment alive or dead? All 12 questions collapse into one. What does this moment require of me? not tomorrow, not someday, now. Marcus trained himself to answer without drama. If the moment required silence, he was silent. If it required action, he acted. If it required endurance, he endured. No complaint, no delay. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people know Stoicism. Very few practice it. Knowledge does not change a life. Responses do. Say this with me, I answer with action. Here is your final Stoic exercise. For the next 7 days, ask one question each morning. What is life asking of me today? Then do one thing, just one, that answers honestly. That is enough. Marcus believed greatness was not dramatic. It was consistent. He wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And the quality of your thoughts is revealed by your choices. Breathe in, breathe out. You don't need a new life. You need a clearer response. Now, before we close, I want you to do something deliberate. Comment one word that you will use to answer life this week. Not a sentence. One word. Courage, discipline, calm, focus, patience. Choose it. Commit to it. And if this series helped you, subscribe, not for motivation, but for practice. Because Stoicism is not something you admire. It is something you live. Stay steady, and I'll see you again. Before you leave, pause. Ask yourself honestly which question in this video made you uncomfortable. That's not coincidence. That's the one you need. Stoicism isn't content you watch, it's a discipline you practice. And every day you return here, you sharpen the questions that shape your decisions, your calm and your character. If you're ready to stop reacting and start choosing, subscribe to Making Life Better, not for motivation, but for clarity. And before you go, comment one word you'll carry this week: calm, discipline, courage, or focus, because the life you want begins with the questions you dare to ask.